Okay, all right, here we go. So we're talking about. I had talked to a bunch of people about, what do you think is the cause? And this is the key part of the question because I didn't get that question answered. But what do you think is the cause, the root cause of the issues that's happening in my community between black men and black women and families and stuff like that? It seems to be a hot topic of discussion on the internet all over the place. And one of the things that I learned, and I keep saying I learned this at the Sheriff's Academy, which I did not. I actually learned this when I was getting my degree, and I took a class called Law Enforcement Ethics from a former chief of police, a retired chief of police. And he used to say this all the time: don't treat the symptom, treat the problem. And most of the conversations I had, what I realized was a lot of us haven't taken time to figure out what the actual problem is. We know what the symptoms are because we know what affects us. It's just like if your kid is sick, right? And your kid says, Dad, I got a runny nose, I got a stuffy nose, I'm coughing, I got a fever, my chest hurts, it's hard to breathe. Do you think I'm gonna hand them a Kleenex? Yeah, fix the runny nose. But the problem is they have a cold. Or their problem is they have some sort of infection or something like that. I need to treat that to fix everything. And this is how we need to start looking at it. So from my personal perspective, what do I think the core problem is? And I'm not saying that anybody else that I talked to was wrong. We just had different perspectives. I think money is at the core of it. Why? We live in a country that glorifies things that it shouldn't. This is what I'll do. I'm going to look here and I'm going to tell you what the definition of success actually is. Okay? The definition of success, this is what it used to be. I looked this up a long time ago. I used to have it memorized by heart. The accomplishment or an aim or purpose. It was all focused on purpose. Accomplishment used to be about fulfilling your purpose. Now when you look it up in Webster, this is the new definition. It's a sub-definition, but it's still in there now. To attain fame, wealth, or social status. To attain fame, wealth, or social status. Think about that. So a person can be a hardworking school teacher, but we wouldn't consider them successful because they don't have fame, wealth, or social status. A person could be a great fireman, but we won't consider them successful because they don't have fame, wealth, and social status. And here's why I say money's the problem, because when you start chasing something that is outside of you instead of the original definition, which is focused on aim or purpose, which is inside of you, that is something that only you can control. So you can control your level of success. Meaning, if I decided, hey, my goal is to be a school teacher, and I believe there are a lot of amazing, we have a school teacher shortage right now in this country. I believe there are a lot of amazing people where their purpose were to educate, but they're not educating. Why? Because if I'm a man and I want to have a family and I have to be marketable. And to be marketable, I have to be successful. And to be successful, what is the definition again? Fame, wealth, and or social status. So it's about what you make, not who you are anymore. We don't even, when you go out on dates, here's something that's funny. For me, if I get asked this question within the first 3 questions, I'm probably not going to see you again. Meaning, if you say, what do you do? Or you associate who I am with what I do, because those are 2 different things. One pays me, the other makes me. You should be getting to know the one that makes me, not the one that pays me. So now when we're looking for this, we're looking for people who have fame, wealth, and or social status. There are very few people that are going to achieve that. Because that's the way this country is built. This country is built for the wealth to go to a select few. And we need the rest of the people not to have it. So we have to stop walking around with blinders on, assuming that everybody can be a millionaire, because everybody can't. But it doesn't mean that you're not a person that is worthy of partnership. Those are two totally separate things. Compatibility doesn't have anything to do with wealth. And when we look at our core value system has been severely compromised. I looked up core values for families, okay? And this is what I saw. I saw core values for families, and this is what they came up with. So, oh, and I saw some quotes too. So I want you to listen to these quotes. I am not saying don't get money, because like I said, we know it's necessary, but you should keep it in your mind that this is something that you need, but never let it in your heart. That's deep. Why? Because the desire for money can compromise you. When you try to get a job in law enforcement, do you know one of the first things they do? They check your credit report. Why? Why do you care when and how I pay my bills? Why do you care about how many debts I have? Why? Because people who owe money are considered easily compromisable. They will compromise their integrity and their value system, right? So values like trust, integrity, respect, discipline, responsibility, accountability, and teamwork. That's what I saw when I looked up core values of family. None of that is talking about wealth. Because if you're doing all of this correctly, the rest of that is going to come on its own. Just like if you chase purpose over finance, you're going to be happy with your result. And happy should be the goal. Contentment should be the goal. Satisfaction should be the goal. Purpose is about what you have that you can share with the world to make it better. It's not about what you can keep to yourself, which is what money allows you to do, because that's an individualistic sport. Now, the Bible also said it is easier for the camel to go through an eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter into heaven. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that you can't get money. Job was very wealthy, but Job never compromised his integrity, and his reward was wealth, right? So the thing is what we have to understand, that when it comes down to relationships, we can't chase something we don't have control over, because we don't have control over the wealth in this nation. We can work our butts off and still get cut off at the knees, because the gatekeepers are the one that decides who make the most money. So I think if we go back and focus on what our actual core value should be, and think about it, come up with 5 core values for yourself. And if money is in one of those top 5, then you are at risk for compromising those other core values. And we see it every day. We see it on social media. We see it in our government. We see it politically. We see people compromise their integrity. We see people compromise respect for others. We see people compromise their personal discipline. We see people compromise their responsibility. We see people avoid and evade accountability. And we see people avoid teamwork. Why? Because finance is an individualistic sport. I can't get richer with y'all. My goal is to get richer in spite of y'all, if that's my goal. And we have to be careful of that. Because when your core values are easily compromisable, and one of the main things that are in your core values are things that are divisive, then how can you build something with somebody when your focus is on how to gain as much as you can on your own? That can only lead you to selfishness, not inclusion. So, if you like this or some of the other stuff, or if you got comments, questions, I love questions because it gives me more perspective to be able to consider this. This is not about a right or wrong thing. It's just conversations that we need to start having. And we need to stop pointing the finger at each other, because as long as we're divided, the rich get rich and the poor don't get a thing, right? So if you're still stuck in the same place, you're still stuck in park, or you're still chasing dreams and chasing goals and wondering why it doesn't work everywhere, because you're applying individualistic values to a team sport. So I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear from you soon. This is G. Lewis. I'm out.